see your faces, so I do appreciate that you are on here. Hi, Jess. How you doing? It's good to see you. Oh, wait. Hold on. I can't hear you. Hang on. Go ahead. Wait. I can't hear you for some reason. No. Can you guys hear her? No. I know your microphone must not be working. I'm sorry. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe just chat. Are you at your mom and dad's? Hey, are you back home? You're back home? Okay. All right, my friends, let's get started. So we're going to walk through a couple of things. How many of you are starting week 1? And this is your very first Coach Training University call. All right, some of you are are a couple of weeks in. And so I'm excited that you're here, because what we're going to do today is we're going to plan out our month. We're going to talk about what challenge groups that we're going to be a part of. We are going to set our goals and our intentions. And if you haven't launched your business yet, that is what you are going to do today. So this is, we sort of overlapped. It was kind of my fault that I started the last Coach University a little late, and then the new one started today. So we've kind of got a mixture of 2 groups of people in here, but I feel like this is going to be really relevant to everyone because it's October 1st and it's the start of a new month. All right. So I've got a couple of things we're going to walk through, but the first thing that I would like to cover with you guys is this. So as a new business owner, it's overwhelming. There are a lot of things to do on your to-do list, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, what the heck did I get myself into? Can I really handle this? And do I really have the time to devote to building this business? And the answer is yes, you absolutely do. But it's going to require you to be a little bit disciplined in the way you use your time, but to also really work on yourself. And, there were a lot of times when I was first launching my business that my kids were 6 months old and I had a 2.5-year-old, and I was at home by myself, and my husband worked really long hours, and I was still going through my physical transformation. And so I just remember trying to figure out how to navigate Facebook and how to make posts and how to get on calls and where to find the content and go through the training, still trying to think about my own body and then also raising my kids. And it was a lot. But one of the first things that really helped me was getting just a 3-ring binder and getting a planner and just actually saying to yourself, okay, Melanie, this is your side business right now. At that time, I would consider it more of a hobby. But I said to myself, I need to be intentional. Otherwise, I'm just going to be like a squirrel. And my brain's going to be all over the place, and I'm not going to feel organized, and I'm always going to be anxious because I feel like I'm missing something. All right. So it's time for you guys just to get a planner. Does everybody have a planner or a Google Calendar? And so every week I sit down and I say to myself, and you can do this kind of now and say, okay, what's on the calendar that I can't move? Do you have a job that you go to? Block that out. And I like to color code things, and you can do it on a Google Calendar or you can do it on a paper and pencil calendar. But for me, I block out workout time. If it's going to be 5 in the morning, because that's the only time that I can fit it in during the day, I'm going to say 5 a.m. That's the time I'm getting up. And so I started writing that in my calendar. And I would set my alarm to go off at, 4:50 or 5 a.m. And so that I would say, okay, you're up. You've got to get your day started. You have a big vision and a big dream for what you want this business to be, and you can't waste time. And so that was just something that I conditioned myself. I did my own behavioral modification on myself, right? You can change any behavior if you practice it long enough. And so for me, I would put that workout on there. Then I would go through and I'd say, okay, do we have a MOPS group today? Do we have doctor's appointments? Do the kids have practices in the evenings? I would put all that on my calendar. And then I would look and I would say, what's left for me to build this business? So then I had all this white space, and I was like, okay, my kids took a nap when they were little. So from 2 to 3, I knew I would get a solid hour. And so I started blocking out, instead of doing my workout during nap time, instead of cleaning my house, instead of doing laundry, I would sit down and I would build my business. So it's not that we're creating more hours in our day. It's that we are learning.
You need great.
Sorry. sorry about that. It is that we are learning to readjust our schedule. And that is so important, is to say, I can't let my time run me. I've got to run it. And a lot of times, you know, even when our children are really little, they dictate our schedule, but we can still have some control within that space. All right. So planning it out. Now, for some of you that maybe you are home with your kids all week long, or maybe you do work a full-time job, Saturdays and Sundays are like were always my time. Those were all, and the evenings were my time. So one of the things that I started to do was Saturday and Sunday mornings, I would get up early, and I would get up at my 5 o'clock time or 6 a.m. and my husband would get the kids up, get them breakfast. You know, they would sit and watch some TV, they'd play some games, and I would go in a spare room at that time, close the door, and I would get 2 to 3 hours, or go to Starbucks. But find what is going to be your power pockets of business building time. The second thing with that is printing out your business activity tracker. So having that business activity tracker, because that is your gut check to make sure you're actually focused on business building activities. Because let me just say, how many of you have spent time building your Beachbody business, but you've scrolled Instagram looking for inspiration? You're watching other people's Instagram stories. You're watching YouTube videos. You're on Pinterest looking for ideas, and you're listening to hours of training videos. That's not building your business. Building your business is doing. It's activity. And activity is when you're doing something, ask yourself, is this making me money? If the answer is no, it's not an income producing activity. So every day you have to have a block of time where you are focused on income producing activities. All right. And so when you think about your to-do list, that's what should be on there. Invite 5 people, or pick your number. What's it going to be? But it should be no less than 1. You know, you shouldn't have a 0 on there. Or if you do have a 0 for Monday because you work a shift work and you barely can survive on that day, you just know that at the end of the week, I need to average 20 to 30 invites. So I may have to do more on the off day. But that's where the self-discipline comes in, is to say, if I didn't get it done today, it has to be done tomorrow. Or, you know, like I can't just not do it, because those are the activities that are going to build my business, right? So on your business activity tracker, at the very top, it says proof of the product, right? And drink your Shakeology, your personal development. Those are great. Those are not income producing activities. The things that are in that second block of time. And so you have to say to yourself, what time of day will I do those things? Okay, so every day, those are the most important things that need to get done, or they need to average out over the course of the week. Okay. The next thing is your social media posts, which we are going to talk a little bit more about that today as we dig into this. But as you're posting, like 2 social media posts on Instagram or Facebook is great, right? 2 quality ones, and then 7 to 10 Instagram stories. If you're using Instagram, you should be pretty consistent with 7 to 10 stories a day. And I can answer, if you want suggestions of what to post, I can give you that. But here is what I want to tell you. When you post on any social media, do not just say, I posted, check it off the box. Don't just say, I need to document that I worked out today, check that off the box. Every time you hit send on a post, it should have a purpose. And you should say to yourself, this post is meant to get people to comment or vote or give me their opinion. This post is meant to be an invite to a challenge group. I want people to ask me more information. This one is I want people to like, or, you know, so everything you do should have a purpose. All right. So, and you want to remember that it's not about selling, but it's about sharing and telling your story and attracting the right people to you. And in that breath, I will say it takes time. So don't expect overnight success. Expect a nice, slow growth. But what you do consistently and repeatedly over time is what is going to actually build that momentum. All right. So you're going to start with 0, like I did. I started with 0 followers, 0 friends. I had a very small Facebook account. Nobody knew me as somebody that did health and fitness. Nobody knew me from like I was a mom of 2 kids, and I had an undergrad in psychology and a master's in special education. And I only posted on Facebook when like I had a baby, I got married, or we got a dog. That was it, right? And so now here I was showing up 2 and 3 times a day, talking about fitness, sharing recipes, you know, being motivational and inspirational. So it took people a while to sort of understand. And I had to really gain their attention by putting out quality content that they were going to want to stop and read. So think about, what are the things you like to stop and read, and what are the things you scroll over? And you want to imitate or try to duplicate in your own voice the things that are your sort of niche, and your own voice and your own words, because that's how you want to start to gain that traction. Okay? All right, so those are just some really important things. Throughout the course of the first month that you are building your business, your number one goal in the next week is to get one customer that buys a challenge pack. In the next 7 days, that's what I want you to focus on. One, all right? One challenge pack. I know you can do it. And if you want to check it off the box today, you can sign up your significant other or, your spouse as a coach with a challenge pack. And then it's done. All right. And it's really easy to do. I know when my husband, or when I first signed up as a coach, I didn't sign my husband up until the second month. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing, but a lot of people were asking me about Shakeology, and they didn't want to buy it. They wanted to try it first. And so what I did was I got the 3-day refresh challenge pack under Matt, and I got packets of Shakeology, and I sold them as samples for $5 a piece to people that wanted to try it. And I wrote my own little Word document that basically said, like, this is what Shakeology is. Here are a few of my favorite recipes. I typed out like 3 different recipes. And then I even had a section in there that said, I royally screwed my Shakeology up the first time I made it. Here are some troubleshooting tips, right? And I talked about use a blender. I talked about using more water if you wanted it to be a little thinner. I talked about ice and no ice and adding bananas. And so I just it was a 1-page Word document that I just printed off and folded and stuck in the envelope with the Shakeology packet. And I made them just PayPal it to me, or I would drop it off or meet them somewhere. But at the beginning, that was a great way for people to try it before they bought it. All right. And it was a great way for me to make the money back of my investment. And I did the 3-day refresh. That is 3 days that you could do a before photo for day, before the 3-day refresh. You can do it. You have something to talk about on your social media. And at the end of 3 days, you have a transformation. It's something you can talk about. Can you sell some 3-day refreshes? Absolutely. Everybody kind of sometimes is looking for a quick fix or a fast get rid of the bloat or get back on track or kick the sugar cravings, right? And by you doing it, you're really good at speaking about it. So if you are able to invest, I would sign up your significant other or a family member, somebody that, that can be your first point. That's your first win. All right. That can be easy. But for the next 30 days, your goal is to, at minimum, you're going to earn what's called Success Club. And I want you to try to shoot for 3 to 5 brand new customers. All right. 3 to 5. And you have 30 days to do it. And the ratio is like out of every 10 people you talk to as a new coach, you get 1 person to sign up. So if you want 5 people, then your goal is to talk to at minimum 50 people. All right. You may say, I don't know 50 people, but I bet you will. And you can do anything you put your mind to. All right. So this might be, I need to start making a list. And I will tell you that the more you talk to people, the better you get at explaining what we do. So it's practice. It's just practicing over and over, having conversations, answering questions. And the more you practice, the better you get. It's kind of like riding a bike. Do you guys remember, or have you taught your children to ride a bike? First time you get on a bike with those training wheels, it's like they're trying to figure out how to pedal, they're trying to figure out how to steer, they're trying to hold themselves in place, and every child runs into a mailbox or falls over and scrapes their knee, right? But what do? We don't tell them to never ride the bike again. We go, get back on. Get back on. It's okay. Brush it off. Get back on. And so we say, keep riding, keep practicing. And so it's just like that. When we're learning to be a coach, it's like riding a bike. It's going to be clunky. It's going to be awkward. We're going to make some mistakes. We may even run into a mailbox, but we're going to get back on and we're going to keep going. And before you know it, you're going to be sending messages, doing follow-ups, and not even thinking about it. The words will just roll off your tongue because you've practiced enough to make it a routine and make it a new habit. So this next 30 days, it's not about being perfect. You're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to make mistakes. But there's very few things in life that we can't fix by saying, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong information. Or I'm really sorry, I really overwhelmed you because I just spewed a ton of information. I'm really excited. I'm excited that you're interested in this. And so you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to try. That's the biggest thing I see with new people coming in, is they're so afraid. They want everything to be just perfect. I'm like, just jump. Like, we will figure this out. But the sooner you get going, the faster you're going to have success. All right. So the first 30 days, that is your goal, is to get 3 to 5 challengers into a challenge group. Now, with that being said, I know your next question is, well, what challenge group am I inviting them to? And you have a couple of options. So you have the option to either run your own group, which means you pick a date, 7 to 10 days from today, not at the end of the month, and it's not a free group. It's a group where you're requiring people to invest in a challenge pack, right? And the tools. The challenge pack are the tools that people need to succeed, right? They need the nutrition, they need the fitness, they need the support system. That's how we serve our audience, is with that package. You pick a date, 7 to 10 days from today. So I would tell you October 15th or the 22nd would be a good Monday. I always say pick a theme. You know, do you want it to be, it can be anything. Like I have done, and I like to pick a theme. I don't call it just a challenge group. I've done, like this month, I'm doing a skinny jeans challenge group, because every woman wants to feel comfortable in their jeans. They hate when they have that muffin top, or they have to try on shirt after shirt to find something that sort of makes them feel good. It's the worst feeling in the world. So pick a topic. Maybe it's fall back into fitness, you know, depending on where you're at. Gratitude groups are great for November. You can pick a book that you want to base it off of. So anything, you can kind of pick anything, or you can go to your sponsor coach and say, hey, what challenge group are you running this month? I don't feel comfortable doing my own yet. I would like to co-run it with you. So if you're my PS coach, then October 8th is the preseason start date. And preseason basically is just the week that we set goals. It's the week that we take our pictures and our measurements and do the meal plan. And then we start our workouts on October 15th. And then that group runs all the way until November 25th, which is right after Thanksgiving. So if you're inviting to my group, you can. You just have to participate in it, and you have to make sure your customers are purchasing customers. They're not free customers you're putting in there. All right. So once you kind of know, okay, this is the group I'm running, now you can start getting out there and talking to people, because you want to know what you have to offer them, because that makes you just feel a little more confident. And I always say, don't set a date and say, well, if I get people, I'll run a group. Just say, this is my date and I'm going to run a group, and come hell or high water, I will find my 5 people that I'm going to put in that group. You know, just like speak that confidence and that truth into yourself, and you become that confident person when you think that way. All right, so that kind of leads us to the next step. And if at any point you have questions, drop them in the chat bar and I will go through and I will answer them. So if something pops in, just type it in there and I can answer your question. All right, so now we kind of have ourselves set up. What is Success Club? Let's touch on that super fast. Success Club is Beachbody's reward program. So you earn Success Club points for challenge packs. New coaches that sign up with a challenge pack. For a 3-pack of Beach Bars that's on Home Direct is Success Club points. Anything that totals 90 PV on HD is a Success Club point. So like Energize and Recover. I think those together might be 90. I could be wrong. I might have to just double check on that. It's been a while since I've given that example. But you can actually go into the Coach FAQ. If you log into your Coach Online Office and click the support tab, just go to the FAQs and say, what is Success Club? And it will tell you what it is. But Beachbody gives you a prize your first month that you're in Success Club. And every 3 months that you sustain your Success Club, you earn points towards prizes. And we go on these trips every year, these rewards trips. And so that's how you earn those trips, is by hitting your benchmark of Success Club every month. And then you get to go. And they're fun and awesome. And you all need to be there. All right. So, and HD items, yes. So Success Club points, you get commissions on everything. That's something that people always question, is like, do I get commission on things that I don't get Success Club points? Yes. You get a 25% commission on everything. You sell a refresh, you sell a sample pack, Energize, anything, you'll get a commission for it. But only those certain things get you Success Club points, okay? So just so that you guys know that part first. Okay, so now We kind of know what our goals are for the month. The next thing is we need to take some action. So the first thing that we need to make sure that we do, and if you've been a coach before or you've been a coach for a while and you're redoing this Coach University, I want you to pretend, if you haven't launched your business yet, that you are launching your business for the first time today. All right. So that's just my mailman. Can you hear did you guys hear the doorbell? Let me see if I have to go out there. Hang on 1 second. Let me just look. What?
Those are short paid.
Oh no.
$3.
Really? I didn't even nail my assistant nailed them. Okay. That's okay. So you can give me all these. All right.
They're supposed to go through as posters do.
Okay.
The office job, and then they send you back. So I don't know if you sent more than
Yeah.
8 hours.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. No problem. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Take care. All right, I'll just share this with you because it's rather funny. Do you see this big bin that the mailman gave me? I sent out all these Success Club prizes and he just gave them all back to me. All of them. All bin of Success Club prizes. Back. They're all short postage and I have to redo it again. All right. It's like, why did nobody say they got their headbands? That would be why. All right. Add that to the list of things I have to do. Okay, so we're going to talk about launching our business next. I see your face, Jess, and you're totally frozen with like your sad face. All right, so let's talk about launching your business. So this is a really, really important part, and I want to make sure that you do it and you do it well, and that you do it from a place where you are sharing your story. All right, so wherever you are at right now, I want you to start to craft that launch post, and you can email it to your sponsor. You can, if I'm your sponsor, email it to me and I will review it, or you can send it to me on Facebook. I'm way faster there. But I want you to say to yourself, why did I become a coach? What was the reason that I sought out this opportunity? Was it because I needed something for me? Was it purely like a selfish reason, like I needed to get my fitness under control, and I see this community of great women that are supportive and they're happy and they look like they're confident and I want to be a part of that, you know? So what was the reason? Was it an income opportunity? Was it that you had got great results with the product and you said, I want to share this with other people? And I see that there's a gap in for women, that and a need for me to create this support system for women my age or in my life situation right now. And so I want you to kind of craft that story where you kind of peel back the layers of the onion. A lot of times I read people's posts and they're surface level. You don't want to be vulnerable because you don't want people to judge you. But anytime I get vulnerable is where I connect with my audience the most. And I'll give you a prime example. And it wasn't a launch post, but how many of you saw my messy closet that I posted last week, right? I mean, there are not many people that would go into their closet and would post something like that because that's embarrassing, right? Like, oh my God, Melanie, you're really a disaster. But I really am. And the minute I was vulnerable enough to say, this is, you know, my life right now, and I'm not perfect and I'm trying to manage it all, it allowed the wall to come down and people to trust me. Last Monday, I actually took video of my body in a 2-piece bathing suit and posted that. Now, that took a lot of courage. When I first started coaching, there was no way I would have done that. I was not at that point in my journey, but I certainly did post my before photos in a form-fitting tank top and a pair of shorts, right? And I certainly did not just post my head. This is what I see a lot of coaches do. They're afraid to be vulnerable. They don't want to show their full body, right? But I need you to be vulnerable. I need you to connect with your audience. I need for you to say to people on that computer screen, like, I struggle and this is what is working for me. And I know that there are other women out there that need this and I am going to help you. And you're going to watch me go through it and I'm either going to inspire you to make a change today or maybe 30 days from now, but this is what I'm doing. And so I want you to get vulnerable, right? And tell people what you struggle with, why you became a part of Team Beachbody's coaching community, and how you want to serve your audience. And so if you don't have a before and after photo yet, that is okay. All right. But if you do have like a before photo and a week 1, before photo and week 2, whatever you have to date right now, I want you to put that together. And maybe you never took a before photo, then find a picture of you before you started the workouts that kind of says like, this is where I started and this is where I'm at now. So that is your assignment in the next 24 hours, is for that post to go up and be launched. You don't need to put at the end of it, if you want more information about what I am doing, like you don't have to make it into a call to action kind of post. It can be a, hey, I'm just educating you. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm starting my journey, follow along. Or you can say in there like, hey, if you want to know more about what I'm doing, or if this has sparked your interest, send me a private message. But it doesn't need to be like a selling kind of a post. This is more of a, hey, I'm educating you about what I'm doing. I'm getting that knowledge out there. Okay. So this is your launch. And I'm trying to think, there was one other thing within that. Oh, I know what it was. Do not mention the fitness program, the company, or Shakeology. All right. Here's the reason why I'm telling you that. If you say, I've done the 21-day fix and I lost 12 pounds and I've been drinking Shakeology every single day and I feel amazing, what can people now do? They can go to Google, they can type in 21-day fix, and they can sign up. And they never have to go through you. And then a week later, they're going to go, hey, Tracy, I just bought the 21-day fix from your post last week. And you're like, oh my God, right? That could have been a customer of mine. So leave that stuff out, because you want people to ask you what you did, because then you know somebody's interested. It starts the conversation. So very rarely will you even see me talk about the program that I am doing. Unless, like, for example, I'm in the Transform 20 test group, nobody can buy it yet, and they have to ask me for more information. So that's a little bit different. You will see me talk about that, but that's a different story. Okay. All right. So that's another very, very key point. And the next piece of that, so we're launching, we want to get it out there. That opens your doors for your business. If you listened to the new coach kickoff call I did last week, I talked about sending that email to everybody in your contact list, right? Letting them know what you're doing in there. If you haven't done an email like that, that can be the next thing you do. And you could put your launch post right in there. You could put a picture of yourself. And Cheyenne, I saw you asking it. It is the picture of it's your transformation. So if you don't have a physical transformation yet, do something like I did last week, where I kind of like, I did my before photos and then I had a box that went right through the middle and it said like, Transform 20 day 1. But maybe for you, it's like you put something across the middle, like this is the first day of my health and fitness transformation, or this is the first day of my strength and HIIT workout program. So that's lift, but I changed the name, strength and HIIT, right? Or, if it's 80-day obsession, it's like arms, abs, and booty workout, so think about how you would describe the program that you're doing, and you can just do that on Canva, which is the app, or not the app, but the application on your computer that you can put your photos side by side. All right. Okay. So does that make sense? Is there anybody that needs me to dig into the launch, how to take the photos, how to put them together? Anything on that front? Let me read this question. Cheyenne, print out the business activity tracker, because that is what you want to focus on every single day. And then at the top of that, you can write your goals. So that would be where you would actually write, okay, my goal for October is 5 challengers in a challenge group, right? My goal in the next 7 days is 1 person to buy a challenge pack. So that's really where at the top or on a separate sheet of paper, you should be organized, right? So even in your planner, I have space on my planner on the left-hand side where I write my weekly goals. So I always know what I'm working towards every single week. And then I always reevaluate that on a Sunday to make sure that I am in fact on the right path. Okay. And then 2, I want to get into the invites, but one thing I will say is if you go through this entire week and you're talking to people and we do invite, and I'm going to tell you how to do that, you want to just be reflective. Am I giving too much information? Am I asking the right questions? Because a lot of times, and we're going to go through this, a lot of times we are factual instead of speaking from the heart. So when you're explaining to somebody why they should be in your challenge group, I will read people's conversations and they will say, you should be in my challenge group because you get over 700 fitness programs in Beachbody On Demand, and Shakeology has over 70 plus superfoods. And when you buy it in a challenge pack, you save $40 when it's a bundle. And I'm like, oh, that's so much. That's facts. I don't care about that. I want to know how the challenge group changed your life. Like, tell people the heart stuff, the story stuff. That's why they're going to sign up, not because of the fitness program or what we have. That means nothing to them. So connecting is really important. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So we've got our business launched. Now it's time to kind of get into that routine, right? So we do our workout, we sit down, we have our business hours. What are we going to do during this time? So we know we need to invite to this challenge group. We know we need to get it out there. So the next day is really when you're going to say to yourself, okay, I am going to start sharing on my Instagram stories my daily routine. So if you wake up, you go into the kitchen, you drink your Energize. Instead of showing the Energize, I want you just to like turn the canister around so you can't see the name of it, or just like hold your phone, like do a boomerang or something of you stirring it, and then you just write on there like my pre-workout, kick in the pants, or some people call it their mom juice or whatever. But you just say like morning routine. I get up, I drink my pre-workout, then I go to the basement. Then maybe you do one where you're pushing play, or you can record a little clip of you doing a workout, like doing the exercise. On Instagram, there's that hands-free mode. And if you hold the button, it'll give you a 3-second countdown, and then it'll record. All right. So that's something you can do. You want to start showing people the discipline of your day. If you're reading The Compound Effect, let's say you read a chapter and like a certain quote really stuck out to you, highlight it, take a picture of it. This is what I'm reading, and talk about why it spoke to you. That can be a story. If you pack your lunch and you go to an office, you can take a picture of your food, So it's just sort of you documenting your day, right? It's showing people what you're doing. And then your feed can be sort of your buttoned up kind of nicer things. So let's say, okay, so it's day one. I went downstairs, I pressed play. It was day one of lift 4. And maybe after that workout, it's a picture of you like sitting like this on the floor. And the whole post is like, what the heck just happened to me, right? And so you go on and you talk about like day one of a new program. I didn't realize how out of shape I was, or, oh my gosh, I've been working out for 7 years. That really challenged me. It's so important to, switch up your fitness routine every 90 days because your body gets used to the workouts, right? So think about what you're going through, and that's what you want to share. So it's not that you're just documenting your workout every day, but you're like giving a piece of advice. You're telling people not to give up on day one. You're saying like, hey, and it could be meal planning. Like I'll take pictures of my grocery cart, and I'll take pictures of my food as I'm prepping, and I'll give people tips like shop the perimeter, read your nutrition labels, so knowledge is important, educating your audience. Sometimes you're just sheerly motivating them, and sometimes you're just telling a story about you. And those are kind of the 3 things that I stick to: that motivation, educating them on something, and then telling a story. All right. So kind of think about that. It'll take you some time to kind of get that to make sense, but that's sort of the process that you're focused on. Okay. All right. So that's what we're going to work on. That's going to take time. It's going to take you time. Where do I go for inspiration? A lot of times, a lot of my posts come from my personal development, usually like a quote will spur something. Pinterest is great. So a lot of times when I'm, planning my post for tomorrow, I'll go to Pinterest and I'll put in fitness motivation quotes, or I'll put in clean eating, or whatever it is that sort of pops in my mind. And I'll find a phrase, or I'll find something that speaks to me. And that is like my sentence starter to writing my post. That's usually how that's how I really got good at crafting my post, was I just used other things as my sentence starters for inspiration. And then I always say to myself, what do I want people to do with this post? Do I want to get a response in some way? Because engagement is really important. All right. Okay. So the next part is we got to invite people. Our post will never just it'll never do the work for us. All right. You may get lucky and people may reach out to you and ask for more information, but you have to be proactive at it. So what are some of the ways that I start my business? Right now, today, if I were to start as a brand new coach, what would I be doing? Number 1, I would be everybody that likes my posts that I put out there. And sometimes it was 1 or 2 people, I would send them a message, right? So you send people a message. Thank you so much for, the support on my launch post. I'm so excited about, being able to help other people on their health and fitness journey, and then I always say, like, did you just like my post, or are you interested in learning more about what I'm doing, right? So that's one. That's part of that's an invite. You're connecting with somebody, right? On my post, both on Instagram and Facebook. On your Instagram stories, I look to see who's viewing my stories. I always send a message to people. Hey, I noticed that you have been viewing my stories every day this week. Are you on your fitness journey too? How did you find me? Especially if it's somebody I don't know, I always ask, how did you find me? What did you search? Tell me, and so I'm just connecting with people. So that's number 1. The next thing is actually saying, okay, I can connect off of what I'm putting out there, but I actually need to say publicly, I'm hosting an accountability group. So one of your posts this week, at some point this week, needs to be, hey guys, I launched my business on Monday. I want to tell you about the very first opportunity that you can work with me. This is what it's going to be. It is going to be the Skinny Jeans Accountability Group. So I made my little thing on Canva. It's actually a stock photo of that girl in her skinny jeans. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it looks like that. I made it on Canva. But basically, and it didn't, anything that's like advertising never gets a lot of likes because people don't want to like it. But I know they're seeing it. So just know that. And so I actually put the very first thing was like, enrollment is now open. 10 spots available, right? For you to start your journey. And then I talked about, and you can see, read that post. There's not facts in there. It is emotional. I talk about one of my very best feelings in the world is putting on my favorite pair of jeans, zipping them up, and not having to hold your breath to button them, right? Emotional. Every woman out there at one point or another has overindulged and can't fit into their clothes. Most people, right? And so I talk about being able to walk in your closet and putting on anything you want and not having to worry about if it hides your back fat or covers up your butt or whatever. And then I went on to say I was still wearing maternity jeans and Spanx 6 months after having my kids. And that's vulnerable, right? But that's a piece of relatable advice, that's relatable. Saying something like that is going to get somebody to say, okay, I can relate to that. I have that same problem. And then I talk about, the challenge group and how that really helped me to be able to get control and that I had to make that decision to change my life, right? And I talk about the results and then I say, hit me up right here for the details to apply for a spot to start in my October 8th group. Application, that makes it professional, right? Everybody set up their WooFoo forms in their preseason tasks. This is where you're using those forms. You're either going to, paste the link there or going to direct them to your bio. So you want people to apply, or you could have them drop a comment or send you a direct message. But now I go through all 70 of those people that like that post. Anybody that's not a coach, I'm going to send them a message. All right. So now I've got it out there and I put it on my Instagram and I put it on my Facebook and it went in my stories. 3 places I put it because we all think like, oh my gosh, am I overdoing it? Am I overkill with how many different places I'm putting this information? You're actually not. Did you know that only 3% of your audience actually sees what you post on a daily basis? 3%. So that means you've got to hit people a couple of different ways and every day over time before it sinks in. Okay. So that's important. So I would get, that's going to be the next thing, launch, challenge group, advertising, post. You can put in your stories also, but that's the next step. Okay. Then you can work off of those people that have questioned or asked for more information. All right. Now the next step, I'm just giving you series. This is going to be your to-do list for the rest of the week. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but just after we get off this call, organize yourself. What do I need to do first? Launch. What do I need to do second? Right? And just kind of make yourself a to-do list so that it makes sense. And then just have your tracker, business activity tracker beside you so that you can kind of refer to that. Am I on the right track? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And I just want you to practice this week. It's going to be clunky and awkward like riding a bike. It's okay, right? Don't worry about it. Just do it. Okay, now the next thing is invitations. There'll be a replay. and I will post it afterwards, Christina, for sure. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want everybody to say is invites. What does an invite actually look like? So when I first started coaching, I made a list of all of my friends that we talked about getting in shape or wanting to start eating healthier. We do this. We're women. We at the water cooler, that's what we talk about, right? We talk about how we need to get back on track, or, we have dinner with our family members and we talk about getting on track and not eating the cake and the dessert. And so I just started to think about all of those people. And so I started reaching out. So I said to my sister-in-law, hey, I'm going to do this accountability group. Will you do it with me? This is the program I'm going to do. I think you would love it. Would you like to do it together? Like, let's start keeping each other accountable. So my first challenge group was like friends and family members. And I was a text message thread and we had a Facebook group going. But, those were my people that I started with. It was just like my friends and my family, a little bit of people that, because I was posting on social media, that saw what I was doing, but I started very small. So my mom was one of my first customers that signed up with me, my mother-in-law, my sister, the girl that did my nails, one of my sister-in-law's friends, because she was like, well, I'll do it. I'll ask my friend if she wants to do it. So that was kind of how it started. And so think about all the people that you could begin to reach out to. And they may not respond back. They may say not right now, but by inviting, you're planting seeds. And so then people just start watching you. And so they may ignore you now, but they'll come back around at some point. Trust me, everybody always sort of circles back around one way or another. So over the next, 7 days until we meet again next Monday, that's going to be your focus. All right. That's going to be what you're going to be focused on, is having those conversations. So if I were to sit down and I were to say, okay, I have an hour and a half and I'm going to work on my Beachbody business, what would I do? I would write my launch post and I would post it. That would be number one. Number two, I would say, okay, I'm going to send a message to everybody that I can think of that we've ever talked about health and fitness before. I would send them a message and I would say, hey, nothing scripted. I don't want you to pretend like it's a sales script, because anytime you do that, it feels cold and icky. But I would sit down and I would say, hey, I remember last week, or I would say like, hey, Christina, it was great to see you on Sunday at dinner. I know we had chatted a little bit about this new venture that I was doing, and you were saying I really need to get back on track. And so I'm getting ready to launch my next accountability group, and I would actually really like it if we could, we could do it together. Would this be something you're interested in? Either way, let me know. I'll send you the details. All right. And so that would be what you would do. Right? So that would be the next thing you would do. And then after that, maybe you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to my Instagram or my Facebook and I need to add 5 new friends. So I'm going to think of 5 people I'm not connected to, and I'm going to add 5 new people that I would want to be friends with. Maybe friends from high school, college, coworkers, people in your church. Sometimes if you click on friends, suggested friends pop up. I read those. That's what I would start doing. All right. After that, you may have some people that have responded back to your messages that you've sent out. You may have people that have liked your post already. And so then you can reach out to those people or engage in that conversation. That's your time, right? That's your time that you're going to spend building your business. And then maybe you write your next post that you're going to do, and you get that ready for the next post that you're going to make that afternoon. When I listen to calls, when I do training, a lot of that happens in the car. If you've got a commute to and from work, I'm always listening to National Wake Up Calls. I listen to team calls that I miss. I listen to podcast episodes. I'll listen to YouTube videos. I don't ever sit down to build my business and spend 2 hours just listening to training, because I don't have time like that, right? So I sort of go through the training as I need it. When I don't know how to respond, when somebody says, I want more information, I go find the answer and then I respond. So that's how my brain works. I just sort of like, I do the training as I need it. And so, kind of you figure out what pace works best for you, but just use your time wisely. When you're a captive audience in the car, pick up the phone, call one of the people that says, I would like more information, and just tell them about the challenge group, right? Practice on your family and friends. Like, that's where you mess up, because they're going to love you anyways. You could say all of the wrong things, but they're probably still going to buy from you. And you're going to figure out okay, how do I explain what a challenge group is without word vomiting? How do I explain what I do as a coach you know, if you practice on your best friends and your family members, like it helps you kind of work out those bugs. And that's just what I did. And there was a time where I said to my mom, I'm going to pretend that you're wanting to sign up as a coach, and I just want you to ask me questions. And I just did it because I couldn't get it to feel comfortable. I was like, God, I don't know how to say. I felt so, I would get hot and I'd start to sweat when people would ask me what I did. And so it took me a while to get comfortable. And so that was one of the things I did, is I just practiced. I would walk around my house and I would say, okay, how do you explain what a coach is? And then I would walk through it. So it's just practice. It is honestly just practice. So your personal development is not your business building time. That makes sense? Okay. Questions. What other questions do you guys have? Wufoo is, I think, free for 3 forms, maybe, or 2 forms. So or so many fields. So you wouldn't have a problem with that. Are you guys having conversations and kind of getting stuck in what to say and how to explain it yet? Or has anybody gotten to that point since we did our new coach kickoff call? Because I can take some time to go through that if you want me to. But a lot of what you need is in the Coach Training University. So you go in and you look at the units, you know, there probably is what you need is already in there for the most part, because I have so many videos and so many resources. But I will say, since nobody's asking me questions, I will say that the one thing that people do is that factual part, right? So when somebody says, I want more information, or I'm interested, pause for a second. We get really excited and we just want to give them all this info. And so take a step back and say, okay, this person may just be curious. They may not be ready to purchase yet. And I'll use an example. So when Matt and I bought this house, we decided that we were going to get new living room furniture. And we wanted a nice furniture set, right? And so we went to like every store and like sat in couches and sat on chairs and looked at end tables, and everywhere we went, everybody wrote down our name and our phone number. And then people started calling us, right? There's a sale, and I ignored them. I didn't even answer the phone to tell them I wasn't ready to make a decision yet, right? And so and I thought about it, and all of a sudden it was like one day it was the right sale or promotion, and I ended up buying our furniture. But it was just that repeat of the people just reminding me there's a sale, there's a promotion. They followed up, and even though I ignored them, it was just, people need the right time, the right place. And so just know that, like, don't give up. Know that you just may be, that they're interested, but just not right now. Okay. So when you're giving somebody info, ask them questions. So when somebody says, I'm interested, what's the price? Don't even say anything about price. Just say, awesome, I'm so glad you're interested. Tell me a little bit more about you. Because I can't recommend to Lori a challenge pack if I don't know what her struggles are. I mean, I need to know what her fitness level is. I need to know if she's following any kind of nutrition plan. Does she have any injuries or limitations or time frame? So I want to ask all of that. Tell me a little bit about you. What do you struggle with? Are you following any fitness plans right now? What is or isn't working? And kind of listen to what they have to say. And I'm not thinking about the sale. I'm thinking about, how do I serve this person as best as possible? Because if you're trying to rush to just get to the end result, you're not going to end up getting the person to sign up, right? So I am like, okay, this might take back and forth for me to figure it out. So struggles with nutrition, they're 100 pounds overweight. So maybe I don't even want them to start with fitness. I may just want them to do 2B mindset or just portion fix, right? So I'm going to ask questions. Then once I get to the point where I feel like I have enough information, then I'm going to say, all right, my challenge group's definitely going to help you. I'm going to be able to help customize a plan for you. We're going to focus on, making really good quality food choices. We're going to talk about planning. I'll give you some great recipes and prep advice. You're going to have a place to check in daily, like we hold each other accountable. I'll check in with you every week. And so here's what you're going to do. I want you to start with this program. The package is called the All Access On Demand Challenge Pack. It's going to give you everything you need to be a part of my group and get my 24/7 accountability and support, right? This is going to be the price. Here's your link to purchase. Can you do it today? I want you to have your stuff in time to start on the 8th. So you're going to have to purchase it within the next 24 hours. So I gave them kind of a deadline, right? And so you want to just take your time and go through that process. And then once you give somebody the link, you follow up with them the next day if you don't see their order go through. All right. But take your time. Take your time. Don't verbally vomit on people. Pretend like you're just talking to a girlfriend. What would you say? All right. You don't need to be super scripted. Okay. What should I do about launching your business? I wrote down a post about launching, asking people to join. Is there any more? Nope, you got it. And if you aren't sure, go back and re-listen to this call or set up a call with your sponsor so they can help you too. All right. How do you find a balance between inviting without building and building first? I like mass emails that wouldn't be building. No. Mass emails are great to kind of get the word out that you're doing something. But you have to build a relationship, a trusting relationship. And that trust comes from your content you put out there, right? So if you are sending private invites, but you're not posting on social media, you're not going to have success. If you're just posting on social media and you're not private inviting, you're not going to have success. You need the two together. So when you send somebody a private invitation, what is the first thing we all do? We go to their social media. This is what I did to my coach. I was like, okay, my coach, I hadn't talked to her in 6 years. And so I went to her Facebook and I scrolled and I read every post and I looked at her transformation and I saw how happy she was and that she had 2 kids and they were the same age as mine. And so then I responded to her message. So you have to have them both together. So that is very important. So you can't have one without the other. If you sent me a cold invite, I would ignore you. I don't know you. But if you messaged me about something else and you were asking me a question, I probably would respond to the question. I may go check out and see who you are, and then that might start more of a conversation. All right. So, cold, gone are the days of just cold invites. Unless it's somebody and you're reaching out to them, there's already a relationship built there. If you're looking and searching for people on Instagram or Facebook and connecting with people, and you send a new friend request to somebody that you went to high school with, and you want to send a private message, make it a connection. Say, hey, I sent you a friend request. You popped up as a suggested friend. I haven't seen you in 20 years. How are you? Oh my gosh, you have 2 beautiful daughters. Like how is life? That's a connection, right? It wouldn't be friend request. That person accepts, hey, you want to join my challenge group? Then it's like, yeah, the only reason you sent me a friend request is so that you could sell to me. So just use your common sense about it, and just say, I need to connect with people too. So it's a process. It definitely is a process. And the last thing I'll leave you with is not everybody is as excited as you are about starting your Beachbody business. All right. You're real excited. And you think that when you sign up, you're like, oh my God, everybody is going to be so excited and everybody's going to join me. But people are not that excited. All right. And that's the reality because number one, they're skeptical. We're just a skeptical society, right? And we are susceptible to being sold, and we want to connect with people first. So approach your business and saying, I want to build trust with people. I want them to know I can help them. And I'm going to show them by giving them free advice every single day. And I'm going to lead by example, and I'm going to reach out to people that are watching and viewing, and I am going to make connections, but just know that it's going to take people some time to, like your cold market, they need time to warm up. And even the people close to you need time to warm up. So don't get discouraged if you're met with a little opposition, all right? They just aren't quite sure yet, or they don't have all the facts, and they just don't know, if it's going to work for them. So you be the example. The best thing you can do is be the example. That, my friends, will speak volumes. I know that there are some of you that have followed me for years before you pulled the trigger and decided to become a coach, right? I have people tell me all the time, I followed you for a year. I didn't even know they were following me. They never liked to post, nothing. They never said a word, so people are watching even when they say nothing. Most people quit before they reach success because they just get frustrated and they give up. All right. So remember your why, your vision, why you're excited, who you want to help, the audience you want to serve, and just always come from your heart, and everything will work out. You can learn the skill, you know, but I can't teach you the motivation or the heart behind it. All right? Okay. Anything else? Last questions. We've got 4 minutes. Did this give you some guidance? Is there anything you need clarification on? I'm sorry I look the way I do today. I have no makeup on. None. Not one stitch. So you're getting au naturel today. Nothing? All right, I am gonna get this recording and I will post it. I'll send it out as an email. I'll post it in the Coach University and send it to any leaders that need it to kind of share it out, but we will meet back here. So our calls are typically 12 o'clock. So next Monday, it'll go back to 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. They'll be the same way for the whole month of October. And we have a couple of leaders and we sort of rotate and we share the calls. So you may see me or you may see somebody else. All right. So in the meantime, let's get our launch post together. Let's start working on our business activity trackers. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you guys have a really great week and I will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.